Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I have another deck profile for you guys. Big surprise, it's not a Dragon Maid video. Wow, that's actually a huge surprise considering since I started to upload again consistently, it's all been Dragon Maid stuff. And I do enjoy, you know, uh, recording Dragon Maid videos and deck profiles, like test hand stuff like that. But I figured that I wanted to share something else, something a little different, and that Zoodiac Dragoon. It's actually not the Dogmatica version, which I do enjoy, but I also enjoy this version of the deck, and I hope you guys will too. So it's basically Zoo, and then we're playing some extenders, so we're able to make Verte and end on Dragoon and Trident, plus like hand traps and stuff like that. I'm also playing some other techs in the deck that I feel like are really good in today's meta. So again, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into it. So we're starting off with the main deck, of course. The one rat, um, the three Thoroughblade, we have the three Whiptail, and then three Ram. All right, play three, proxying one because I do have another one. I just can't find it. Um, oh my god, I have so much stuff everywhere. I need to be a bit more organized, but every time I feel like I organize my stuff, I eventually like mess it up again. But anyway, yeah, this is the zoo stuff, the zoo monsters. So we have 10 zoos. Zoodiac Rat is just good, just because it sends like any Zoodiac monster. So if you like need to out a monster, uh, and you could like dump the whiptail and then attack over a monster and banish it. And then like if you dump Ram, you have that Mega Clops combo, which is really nice. So it sends you anything. It sends you combo. We do play one combo in the deck. So it's good that Rat can send you combo. Thoroughblade is really good because it unclogs like your hand if you have a bunch of zoos and then you draw a free card. I always end up drawing like traps and hand traps and stuff like that, so that's really good. And then we have the three Whiptail, of course. Um, Whiptail is just really great. It's like your hand trap. It out stuff. It boosts your zoos up, and then it has that really good banish effect. And then Ram is the floater. Uh, nice 2K booty. So we have 10 zoos, and then here are the extenders that we play so that we're able to get into Verte and extend because with zoo it's fairly easy to get like bodies on board, but sometimes you can't get more than two unless you open up like the Megaclops, which is having Ram in the grave and then making your zoo and starting your plays off that way. But the problem with that is that when you do that play, you use Dryden early, so that way you can get the third body on board, because you use Chakanine twice in that combo, and so you'll have like a Dryden with no material. So we need ways to just use Chakanine's effect, get that free body, and then get a body, get another body on board. Um, a different way, which is where Time Thief Winder and Singing Lanius come in. Lanius just says that if you control an Xyz monster, you could special summon this card from your hand, and then Winder, you could just detach any Xyz material to summon it from the hand. So it's really good. So they just serve as just single card extenders that help you like make Verte and then summon Dragoon. So that's the only reason we play them. We don't get that search off Winder because we don't play any more Time Thief cards. If we did play more rank 4s, this would also be a cool way to get into more rank 4s. But again, you'd have to like open up like Barrage, like Anazu, and this, or like Lanius. So it's not really ideal. So it just serves those two purposes, just the purpose of making Verte and so we could summon Dragoon. And then we have the Red Eyes and Dark Magician. For the hand traps, we have 3 Ash, we have 2 Veiler. That's it for the monster hand traps. The reason that I chose Veiler is because we do the Celine combo, which gets you into Access Code Talker. That's when you You could like normal summon Ash Blossom and then like go into Halqifibrax, summon Veiler from the deck, go into Selene, summon Veiler back with Selene, and then make access code Talker. So that way, you have two pops with access code. You could banish Halqifibrax and Selene to pop cards, and then access code Talker will be at 5,300. That's the only reason we play like Veiler over like say like Nibiru, um, just for that simple interaction. And it's a very strong play, so it's nice that we could like have access to that combo. So that is it for the monsters. Now for our spells, we're gonna obviously start off with 3 tanky, um, and the 1 barrage to get access to our Zoodiac engine as quickly as possible. Of course, tanky, searches you any of the zoo monsters, which is nice because if you do open like Thoroughblade, you could just search for the Ram. Or this actually becomes a 1 card Megaclops because you could just search Rat, and then Rat dumps the Ram, and then you can get into your Megaclops play that way. So it's really good to open up this card. And then Barrage is just a really good extender in case like they do interrupt your normal summon. So it's nice to have access to Barrage. It also allows us to use like Thoroughblade more than once. So we could Thoroughblade, send a zoo, draw a card, activate this, summon another Thoroughblade, send another zoo, draw another card. So that way we can dig deeper in for hand traps, or like our extenders like Winder and Lanius. So it's really good. And then for the other spells, we have 2 Forbidden Droplets. This card is really nice to have in the deck because not only can you revive like dead zoo monsters with Chakanine that have really no use later on in the game, or like even if you can't make Verte and then go into Dragoon, you could always have like that dead zoo with like a set droplets, and then you could send that zoo to negate your opponent's monster effects. It's also a really good out to just like, big monsters, problematic monsters like, Dragoon and stuff like that. So it's really good to have droplets in the deck. Plus you could send like dead tankies. So that's also nice. You could also like send combo. If you happen to draw the combo, you could send combo because you're going to get that engrave effect. So just really good card. And then this is one of the texts that we play. It's Deck Lockdown. Deck Lockdown says that neither player can add cards to their hand except by drawing them, and cannot special summon monsters from the deck. And then you destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. So the reason that this is really good in Zoo is because this is the only card that we used to search. There's literally no other card that we search with, and then this is the only one of that summons from the deck. So that's why this card is really strong, and it's really strong in today's meta because if you think about like the top decks, let's just say let's like Dino, right? Dino is like, to me, one of the most problematic decks, if not the most problematic, just because of miscellaneous, and it's extremely consistent. It's like 3 Oviraptor, 3 Fossil, 3 miscellaneous. Then you have the level 1. You have just so many ways to access your engine in that deck. And then you have Baby Ceratosaurus. So their most powerful cards, miscellaneous, summons from the deck. And Baby Ceratosaurus, when it's destroyed, summons from the deck. Oviraptor searches. This single card stops all their plays. There's literally nothing that they can do if they're under this card. There's nothing they can do. I don't even know like how they play really, because Oviraptor can send stuff to the grave, but even if it sends miscellaneous, it still has to banish it to summon from the deck, and this card alone stops them. I could make a whole video on this card, this format. I feel like, I don't know why. Well, it's not your deck needs to be able to play this. So maybe if you're playing like a strategy that can do all their plays, and then you could activate this and end on this after you've resolved like all your plays and your combos, that way you're not too affected by this, then it would be really strong. But the thing is, like, I feel like there's not too many decks that could main this. The reason that you could main it in Zoo is just because I mentioned before that this is the only card that searches, and then this one, and then Barrage is the only card that summons from the deck. So there's four cards that are affected by this card alone, and it's not even that big of a deal because all four of these cards do pretty much the same thing, which gets you access to zoos, and like by then you're already gonna have access to your zoo engine when you activate this card. So at the end of your combo, you just activate this, pass turn, and your opponent literally can't do nothing. And then during the second standby phase after activation, it does get destroyed, but by then you should be so far ahead that your opponent like can't come back unless you really bricked hard. But other than that, I mean, you'll be so far ahead of the game because of this card. It'll be ridiculous. It's such a good card, this format. And then lastly, for the for the last two spells, we have Monster Reborn, and then we have the Red Eyes Fusion. Monster Reborn just gets us access to, anything back from the deck, anything back from the grave. Also, this helps you get into that Halka Fibrex combo, because you could summon back Ash, you could summon back the Veiler, and then, do the combo that way. Also, if they happen to get rid of your Dragoon, you could always like special summon the Dragoon back. It's just really good. You could special summon from your opponent's grave as well, so just a good extender. Master Reborn is also another card that can allow us to get into Verte as well. So now for the traps, we have 3 Imperm. So we have the 3 Ash, 2 Veiler, and then 3 Imperm. So we have 8 hand traps. It's not bad. We could play more, honestly. Like some of these other cards, or some of the cards I already showed you, you could cut and play more hand traps if you want. But I figured that there's just like so many cards that we play that are like good going second cards too. Like the droplets and even this card that I'm about to show you too, Ice Dragon's Prison. This card is just like, I love this card. This card is so good. Your opponent can overextend, and then getting rid of 2 key cards, like one in the graveyard, one on the field, it just feels really good, and it puts them so far behind. Like even in dinos, like they will be under miscellaneous sources protection, but you could activate this during the battle phase, so you could like summon a dino and then banish conductor and banish the dino that you summon. So this does come up even in the dinosaur matchup because it doesn't target, so it plays around Lost World as well. So I really like that. And then against so many like Dragon Link, it's so good. Oh, I forgot to mention, like with deck lockdown, I only mentioned dinos, but like think about Dragon Link. Dragon Link has quick launch, which summons from the deck. Dragon Link also adds cards like crazy. It adds cards with Striker Dragon, with Black Metal Dragon. It adds cards with Chaos Space, with Safer. It with Romulus. It adds from the deck as well. And then you have cards like Elpie, which summons from the deck as well. Just insane, man. Like it's this is another card that completely locks down that deck because even if they get drolled, um, even if they get drolled, sometimes they can still play. But this card actually stops 2 things. It stops the droll, and it stops it stops the searching, excuse me, and it stops the summoning from the deck, which is extremely powerful. And then when you think about Dogmatica, like Dogmatica Invoked, when you think about Eldritch summons Golden Lord from the deck. Eldritch adds with Golden Land. Um, like the invoked, you're adding invocation, and then you're like even with Dogmatica, sometimes they can get around Droll because with Dogmatica, if you send Titanclad, you're able to special summon that monster instead of adding it, and this stops that too. So it stops them from like adding to the hand, and it stops them from summoning from the deck. So they can't even resolve Titanclad to summon from the deck or add. So those are like three of the top decks, and they get crippled by this card. So I just want to emphasize a bit more on how good deck lockdown is if you're able to play it in your deck. Then the last 2 traps we play is 1 Zoodiac combo and then 1 Imperial Order. So let's discuss Zoodiac combo first. I play Zoodiac combo over Avarice because Avarice can definitely be dead at times because you're not always going to have that Megaclops play. And also, Avarice is not searchable, whereas this can be searchable four ways because you have three tank, actually five, because no, four ways, I'm sorry. So three tanky, and then you have the single copy of Rat. All those cards will get you access to this because the three tankies will get you access to Rat, and then Rat can get you access to this. Also, even if you hard draw this, and you could always set it, and then it can be a very reactive card where you're able to boost up your, your zoos. You could attach Whiptail, which is really nice, and then during your turn, you could just banish it to revive all those zoo monsters. And it's also nice because it's a trap, so you could activate it during your opponent's turn to banish, and then shuffle everything back, draw a card, which is really nice. So that's why I definitely prefer the one of Zoodiac combo over Pot of Avarice. Just because again it's searchable and it does two things, not just one. And then we play one Imperial Order. So we play Imperial Order because we have three, right? We have three tankies, which these will already be resolved if we had access to them. And then we have the deck lockdown. Obviously, if we activate this against a player who's really crippled by this one card, and we have this card set, we're not going to activate this card because they're going to be so crippled by this card alone that it's going to be like way too good to negate it. I mean, it is a one of, you know what I mean? Chances of you drawing both of them together aren't going to be like too, it's not going to be too common. But what's actually really nice is that even if you like, say you top deck a barrage, and if you activate this barrage, um, like it's gonna be, game changing. It's actually, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Imperial Order would negate barrage. I was gonna say you could just negate deck lockdown, activate barrage, but I'm like, barrage is a spell. That's ridiculous. But no, anyway, going back to what I said before, though, you wouldn't even activate this card if this was crippling your opponent. What's really cool, if you happen to draw this card, like later on, and you have this card face up, then after the second standby phase, this is gonna like destroy itself. So then you have this as backup, which is really nice. But even if you didn't have access, this card is so insane. Like even in this deck, and there's a really cool. There's not really many. Like here's all your spells. We can't count Red Eyes Fusion. These are really the main spells that will get affected by Imperial Order. But again, if you draw this, like after your first turn, it might not be a live card anyway. If you draw this later, yeah, this is gonna be live. But I feel like again, if against like certain decks, they're just gonna be so crippled by this that it's gonna be worth it to just like keep your resources in your hands. And then if they get rid of this, then you're just gonna go off. A Monster Reborn, again, like it's a one of, it's like whatever. Here's another cool interaction with this card though, is Forbidden Droplets. Forbidden Droplets sends your cards for cost. So say you needed to activate this like really badly and you were under Imperial Order, you could activate this, send this for cost, and then because Imperial Order isn't on the field anymore, this is going to resolve. So that's just a neat interaction with this card, with Droplets and Imperial Order. So if you really needed to resolve this to like get over something or negate something, then you could just simply send this for cost, and then this will resolve to like negate something. Yeah, guys, that is it for the main deck. And let's go over the extra deck. We have the one Dragoon, obviously, because we want to be able to summon Dragoon and Trident, which is really good. Speaking of Trident, we have one Trident, and then we have let's move these out of the way. So for the zoos, we have the one Trident, we have the two Chakanine, two Tiger Mortar, and then we have one Hammer Kong, one Borbo. And then this might as well be a zoo. It's a drill driver. I don't know if I think it's kind of common right now for people to play this in zoo, because you could summon this on top of any zoo and you'll have like a 2500 attacker that can deal piercing. And if it destroys, it floats. You could special summon a level 4 monster from your graveyard, which is really nice. But it's just really good to have this for extra damage, because sometimes when you detach to get your zoo's effect, your zoo's going to be really low on attack, so you could just like slap this over the zoo, and then it instantly becomes a 2500 attacker, which is really nice. That is it for the XEs, and then for the links we have Verte, we have Crystron, Helka Fibrax, we have Phoenix. Phoenix is just really good to have in the deck, just because if you're going against dinos and they give you the token, or if you get Nibiru even, you could use the token and like go into Phoenix. And then just to get rid of any like back row problem cards. And then Helka Fibrax, that's for the combo with Selene. Selene's the only Link 3 that we run, and the only reason we run Helka Fibrax is so we could get access to Selene, so we could get access to Access Code Talker. And then we have the 1 Megaclops, and that is it for the extra deck. I don't want people to be confused about the Helka Fibrax and Selene and Access Code Talker, so I want to show you guys just a scenario of how it works. Say you have like any dead zoo, right? Any dead zoo. Or it doesn't have to be a dead zoo. This would be later on in the game. And then like say like you top deck Ash Blossom, or like or you have an Ash Blossom or a Veiler, or you have Monster Reborn, you could just reborn the Ash, reborn the Veiler. So you're gonna normal summon the Ash, and then you link these two into Helka Fibrax. Because this is gonna be later in the game, so we're gonna assume that there's plenty of spells in the grave somehow. Like from your opponent's in your opponent's graveyard and in your graveyard. So like that could be like Red Eyes Fusion, that could be Forbidden Droplets, a deck lockdown, whatever, a Zoodiac Barrage. So you're going to activate the effect of Helka Fibrax. You summon the Effect Veiler, and because it's Effect Veiler is a spellcaster, you could summon Selene. Selene on summon activates to gain counters equal to the amount of spells in both graveyards. You're going to activate Selene's effect to remove 3 spell counters, and then you're going to summon back that Veiler, and then that's going to give you access to Access Code Talker. And because you used a light and a water link monster, that guarantees you 2 pops with Access Code Talker, and it's at 5300, so you could push for damage. So that's why we do the Helka Fibrax Selene combo. You have the space in the extra deck, and it's nice because it does come up. Yeah, guys, that is it for the main deck and extra deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. It is definitely a really fun deck to play, especially if you're a fan of Zoodiac. And it is, I would say, like it's one of the more competitive builds for sure. Definitely test it out if you're interested. Dogmatica is definitely, I feel like, a bit more competitive, but it's just nice to have access to Dragoon. Because Dragoon can be a blowout just against so many decks. And also, I just love playing deck lockdown in this version of the deck, because this can also be just like a complete blowout against so many. It is a complete blowout against so many other decks. Guys, hope you guys enjoy the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. Take care and peace.